Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Popped In, your home for all things pop culture. And today, we're trying something out a little different. Now, as you can see, we're here on the old tier list, but we've got a lot of categories and they're just numbered. And that's because we're going to be doing a ranking, not like just a tier list, because, well, that's fun to kind of get a generalization. For something more specific, like a ranking of, a series or something, it's a bit more unique to do it this way. And I want to get back into the flow of making videos about different topics and stuff and not just doing like random things. I want to kind of have a blend or like a set kind of schedule of type of videos I want to do. And what I want to try and do is rankings. So we're here, and what better way to start than by doing a ranking of all 12 theatrical Star Wars movies. Now, I got them in order down here by release order. But yeah, we're doing all 6 of the George Lucas ones, the spin-offs like the Clone Wars, Rogue One, and Solo, and of course the sequel trilogy. So yeah, should be fun. My opinions have slightly changed because I think I did do a ranking of some sort before. But yeah, it's been a while. My opinions have kind of changed on some movies. Not anything grand or anything like that, but should be fun. And we've had some content that's come out like Andor that's kind of altered, the way you look at things like Rogue One. So yeah, so if you guys do want to see more videos like this, be sure to drop some ideas. I could do other movie series. Now, there's some that I haven't seen every movie in, so we'd have to wait until I watch all those. But I'm planning on doing videos like this, like a tier list for, just going over movies I watched during the month or something like that. Could be kind of cool. But yeah, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. And coming in at number 12, we got the Clone Wars movie. Now, I love the Clone Wars show, and the movie isn't really like terrible. First things first, there's no Star Wars movie I really dislike, and it's just easy to pick on the Clone Wars movie because it really is pretty much just 3 or 4 episodes of the show that they threw together for a pilot movie. So it's early Clone Wars stuff. The animation isn't as great, and it's not one of the greatest stories, but it's also cool because it's the introduction to characters like Ahsoka, Captain Rex. We get Rada the Hutt, which he's supposed to be making his return in The Mandalorian and Grogu next year, so that should be fun. But yeah, Clone Wars pretty easily is the worst one on this list, and kind of a throw pick because, yeah, I don't know anybody that's going to have it high on their list. But yeah, so Clone Wars comes in at last place. But then following that, now we've got all the live action movies. And my least favorite one probably would have to be The Last Jedi. And there are things that I do enjoy about The Last Jedi. It's one of the best looking Star Wars movies of all time. I love the stuff that they did with Rey and Kylo Ren. And even the whole thing with Snoke, which, spoiler alert for the movies, because I'm assuming if you're here, you've seen the movies. But killing Snoke, I actually didn't hate that much. It just kind of threw things in a unique position, and then they kind of just throw it away by bringing Palpatine back in The Rise of Skywalker. But, there's some good ideas at play with The Last Jedi, but I still just can't get behind what they did with Luke's character and, yeah, some of the other decisions. What they did with Finn and Poe, they kind of just made them comedic side characters. Hux and Captain Phasma are like afterthoughts here, so for all the good things The Last Jedi did, there's just so much more that they got wrong. Unfortunately, because I really wanted to get behind the sequels. And while I don't hate them as much as other people do, and like I said, there are things I do enjoy about it, as you can see, it's pretty low on the list here. And following up with that, The Rise of Skywalker is number 10. I just kind of like the feel of it. It's got that classic Star Wars feel. A lot of the story is kind of convoluted and just thrown together because they had to make things work with this last chapter, pulling Palpatine out of nowhere. They don't even show him coming back. It's just in the opening crawl. I am a fan of redeeming Ben Solo because without doing that, it makes everything that happened in the rest of the movies kind of redundant. So I'm a fan of that. I just wish that they would have kind of tied it in more with the rest of the movies, like maybe seeing the Force ghosts instead of just hearing them, letting them be a part of the final battle in more of a, concrete way. But there's some things I do enjoy about it, and it's been a while since I've rewatched it, but overall, yeah, it just kind of falls in at the bottom of this list here. And then this is where it kind of gets hard because most of these others are pretty close. Um, man, it's so tough trying to figure out which one goes next. Oh, it's really between two. I'll just cut to the chase. It's between one of these last two, because The Force Awakens does have a lot of potential, a lot of promise, setting up this new entry in the saga, and it's just unfortunate that so much of it was a retread of what we got with the original trilogy. But the new stuff it did, the new characters, I really enjoyed here. Finn, Rey, Kylo Ren, and then they kind of just ruin some of them, not all of them, but ruin some of them in the rest of the movies. Han Solo is great here. Him and Chewbacca are phenomenal. But unfortunately, we never get that reunion that we really needed to see between all three of our original trilogy heroes. And but with Solo, I think if The Force Awakens, if the sequels would have carried on the trajectory of that film, then it would be higher. Because when this came out, it was one of my favorite movies in the whole saga. It kind of went down once the recency bias wore off, but I still really enjoyed it, and it just now kind of leaves a sour taste because of where the rest of the saga leads. And Solo, it's just a one-off adventure that's kind of fun. Maybe would have been better off as a Disney Plus series, but for what we got, I really love the cast here, some of the tie-ins and references. This is one that I haven't watched in a while as well, so I'd like to rewatch it because I feel like I could like it even more now, because it's just the type of thing Star Wars needs, and I'm hoping, something like Starfighter, and I haven't watched it, but Skeleton Crew, those might kind of be the same type of thing. So I think I'm kind of talking myself into here, Force Awakens, just because, where the rest of the trilogy leads, it's not quite what I wanted. Then we'll go with Solo. I wish we got some more of this cast, man, because they were all so good. And it's unfortunate that we never got this storyline really carried on because they had a lot of potential with it. And then coming in, number 7. This is another tough one. Because I just love these original 6 movies so much. And I rewatched all of them, except Revenge of the Sith, but I've seen that one the most. I rewatched Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones pretty recently, and they're all just so good, man. Even Attack of the Clones was always what I would consider my least favorite, and now we've gotten so many more Star Wars movies, and rewatching it, it's still good. I cannot get behind the hate for any of the prequels. Any Star Wars movie, like I said, I love them all, but especially the prequels. I grew up with those, and I can't get behind bashing any of them. But Rogue One is something special. Especially Andor. Rewatching it after Andor, it didn't quite hit as much as I wanted, because it's clearly Jyn Erso's movie. She's the lead here, not Cassian. So it's kind of throws you off a bit because Cassian had been the lead throughout Andor. But it's still, the emotional stuff hits with Cassian. Which one goes next? This is very, very difficult. Because Rogue One, the first 2/3 of it are really good, but it really kicks off once we go to Mustafar and see Vader, and then the whole Battle of Scarif. But I'm going to have to go Rogue One here. And then Attack of the Clones. It's definitely the weakest of the original 6, but the only part that I kind of don't care for, which even with that, the whole Anakin Padme romance, I still, I don't go, oh my gosh, I hate this movie because of this. It just definitely is the weakest part of the movie, but it's still a ton of fun. We get Hayden Christensen's first appearance as Anakin here. Ewan is great as Obi-Wan. Jango Fett and the clones are awesome. Geonosis is awesome to see. All the Jedi fighting the battle droids. It's just so good. And we get Christopher Lee as Count Dooku, which phenomenal casting. Christopher Lee is one of the GOATs of actors. But yeah, Attack of the Clones, definitely the weakest of the original 6, but it's 6th in this list, which is the top half, so doing well there. And then The Phantom Menace is next, and I've grown such an appreciation for this movie. I love it so much. Qui-Gon is such a good character. Darth Maul is so iconic. Duel of the Fates is perfect. And the world building that this sets up, it's just so good. My sister, this is pretty sure her favorite Star Wars movie, and I'm slowly like I can see why. It just has a certain feel to it. It's like so nostalgic because it was the start of a new era of Star Wars, and man, it's just so good. It really is. I used to dislike it, and I don't know what was wrong with me, but it is so good. And then next, number 4. This is where some people might go, "Oh, this guy," but I mean, it's top 4. Like from here on out, they're all 5 stars in my mind, and it's actually the original Star Wars, which great movie, 5 stars. Like I said, it changed cinema as a whole, but it's the one that I kind of enjoy the least upon rewatch, and it may just be because I've seen it so many times, and it's the most simple story kind of, but they do it so well. The effects and everything, they still hold up today, even though, yeah, you can tell the age, but they still hold up. And watching even older movies like The Thing, stuff like that, like recently I watched Gremlins for the first time, and it's just crazy, even those movies that had good special effects for their time, that Star Wars came before them, and it still like was a whole tier above those in terms of its special effects. It's just insane to see. But yeah, so the original Star Wars is number 4. Changed cinema forever, so don't take it as a slight against that movie because it is phenomenal. Then we got Return of the Jedi. If you would have asked me a while back, I would have said this is my favorite of the original trilogy. When I rewatched the movies recently, like I said, I was like, no, Empire Strikes Back is definitely the best. But there's something about Return of the Jedi. I love a good end to a trilogy, and this was the end to the whole saga at one point. And it just tied it up so perfectly. I know it kind of jumps around, from Tatooine to Endor and stuff, but it's just so classic of a movie. Han, Luke, Leia, they're all great here. We get all the stuff with Vader, conflicted by the dark side and the light. The Ewoks, which some people hate, I love. I forgot to mention too, Jar Jar Binks, completely overhated. Same with the Ewoks. Like, if you dislike them, do you dislike fun? Because it's just fun. Like, we're in a galaxy far, far away. If there's little teddy bears running around killing the stormtroopers, I'll take them at their word for it. But no, then we get Palpatine in the flesh here for the first time as well. So that is super cool. Ian McDiarmid, perfect even back then in the 80s. And yeah, it was just such a good movie. It kind of, like I said, when you rewatch them, you can clearly see Empire is the better movie, but Return of the Jedi, still great. As you can see, top 3 in my list. And then we come to the big grand decision, which if people have watched me before, you know where this list is going to go, because this part has not changed. And for as much as I love this movie, for a while I would have said it was my favorite, but I don't know if that was just me trying to be cool or what, but one movie has overtaken the other, and Empire Strikes Back is number 2. Perfect movie. Like, the music, the romance between Han and Leia, all the stuff with Luke on Dagobah and Cloud City is so good. The Battle of Hoth is incredible. We get Boba Fett here, my favorite character, his debut. We technically get the debut of Palpatine through a hologram. We get Yoda's debut here. Lando Calrissian, like, there's so much good stuff here, and it just does not reach the heights for me of Revenge of the Sith, which has been, and I think always will be, my favorite Star Wars movie, just because this was the first one I saw in theaters. I was full into the hype. I was like 3 years old when this movie came out. I was, collecting all the Burger King Happy Meal toys, so just that hype outside of the movie leading up to it has, drawn me to it. But apart from that, the movie itself is great. It's the ultimate, tragic part of the Star Wars saga as Anakin falls to the dark side. Get to see his relationship with Padme as it fragments because his fear and paranoia of losing her. How his relationship to the Jedi fractures because he thinks they don't trust him, which they don't. And then he turns to Palpatine, the only one who's been there, quote unquote, by his side. And he's really just wanting to use him for his own means. And the fall of the Jedi, Anakin's betrayal, it all just hits so hard. And the lightsaber duels are some of the best in the saga. it's just so good, and it's made even that much better by the Clone Wars and all we've gotten in the expanded universe since then. So yeah, without a doubt, Revenge of the Sith is my favorite Star Wars movie. So this is the list. Maybe you're surprised that Attack of the Clones is over Rogue One, which I could interchange those because I do love Rogue One, but I think overall this is the most accurate list for me. So yeah, that is my ranking of all 12 Star Wars movies. Hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you want to see me do maybe the Star Wars shows, I can do that. I want to watch Skeleton Crew because I don't want to leave out one show. I need to watch that and Tales of the Underworld and Resistance, honestly, but we probably can skip by that one. But no, but if you want to see me do that, we could do something like ranking the Batman movies. With Halloween coming up, we can maybe do something horror related. And I plan to do more videos other than just rankings as well. So if you got any ideas, drop them down below. I'd love to check them out and do any of those ideas that you guys have. So thank you all for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.